Test 1, 2.
Please rise, remove your hats, turn your cell phones off for the presentation of the colors. Today is from Northport Junior ROTC as well as Venice Middle School Young Marines.
Left, face, present, colors.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carry, colors. Ready, cut. Right, face, forward, march, left, 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 right, 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 left, left, left.
Well, welcome everybody to the school board meeting. I had a little technical difficulty with my microphone. That was a great presentation. We had the Young Marines as well as Northport Junior ROTC, especially with Veterans Day coming up. It's great to see both of them in collaboration to come out here to do the presentation of colors. I think that is an awesome thing. And I do see we have a veteran in the audience today, so that'll be great. Today, we're going to do a special presentation spotlighting Wilkinson Elementary School, and I would like to invite proud principal Mrs. Susan Nations to the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. School board members, Superintendent Connor. I'm thrilled to be here to share Wilkinson with you today, where we say that we are working together, building children's futures. And every day that really encompasses the work we do, and it encompasses the points of pride that I'm going to share with you. First point of pride is that we have now maintained that B for 2 consecutive years, and we are extremely proud of that. Underpinning that last year was the increase of our math lowest quartile learning gains that went up by 24 percentage points, which was a huge growth for our students in those lowest quartile. Additionally, we showed growth in math and ELA, and we really think that that's because we stay very data focused, very focused on our students. Our teachers are looking at data at a lot of different levels all throughout the year, and maintaining that focus then helps us to meet their needs, to teach well, and to make sure that we are moving them forward. The impact review process was part of our success as we worked together to make sure that we weren't just looking at the data to move students forward, but we were also analyzing our teaching. Are we using those high quality, high impact strategies to make sure that we are moving classroom teachers forward and those delivering instruction forward as well? We are very proud that we have 10 former Wildcats serving as leaders at school and district level here in Sarasota that have just been there in the last few years, about eight years of promotion of leaders in our district, and that is another piece that we love to see, is spreading our wings a little bit. And then, of course, many of you know that we have that STEAM focus. A lot of schools do have the STEM. We've added the arts to make sure that we are encompassing a well-rounded education for our students. The past 2 years, we've worked very diligently on a STEM certification process for our campus through the National Institute for STEM Education. This campus certification happens when you bring teams of teachers together to work with, and not just your teachers, but your community members, parents, students, to develop a STEM action plan to really hover around 15 teacher actions that influence student learning. Those are built on the environment, looking at the STEM environment at the school level, looking at how are we getting that scientific understanding across to our students and across disciplines, not just in the science, and then engaging students in science and engineering tasks. That campus action plan we developed together, and I'm proud to say that in May, our campus was the first school in the state of Florida to achieve campus certification from the National Institute for STEM Education. So we'll be celebrating that very soon. Part of that process is getting teachers individually certified as well. So part of the agreement is to get 5 teachers certified. We already have 10 certified, which we're very excited about, and we have 5 in the process currently. That also involves a teacher looking at those 15 teacher actions, using that rubric, self-assessing, going through portfolio, and then demonstrating proficiency through the portfolio and the coaching process, so that they too are a very integral part of the STEM action plan on the campus. As a part of this process, we have a STEAM vision for Wilkinson. It's our STEAM vision to be a center for STEM excellence or STEAM excellence in our county and beyond. Using that data-driven, standards-based Tier 1 lesson planning and implementation, we believe that when we do that, the academic achievement is strengthened. And it's really hovers around what we call the 4 C's, which are collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creativity. And that is what we're using to prepare them to succeed in the world that they're growing up in, which we know is changing rapidly. When you look at those 4 C's of 21st century learning, they really align very deeply with the impact review process and the rubrics that we're using as a part of that process through our district action plan. And we see it in classrooms across disciplines. So science feeds into reading, reading feeds into math, math feeds into the arts, arts feeds into social studies. It's just all integrated, and underpinning all of it, again, those 4 C's of collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creativity. So when you think about how we integrated that on campus, we are very proud to have our STEAM station, which is like a mini children's museum on the campus. It's a hands-on space that children can go. It's not a special, it's above and beyond the specials block, monitored by a STEAM coach. She works to make sure she's integrating standards from the kindergarten through the 5th grade, because we know that when our 5th graders get to the science assessment in 5th grade, they're being tested on all of those science standards across the years. So they're re-experiencing those, digging deeper, and getting really in-depth extension and or enrichment in that program. We have STEAM integration across the campus. Our school has school-wide big ideas. We work with 6 big ideas in the school year, and teachers plan backwards, and then they integrate that into their planning in the content area. We've also started to embed technology into the science special on the wheel, and that includes coding and robotics, so that students are getting that experience as well, and it's almost like giving them another language. We have our family STEAM nights, and last year we started something called our STEAM Starter Mornings. And those, believe it or not, our families join us at 7:30 in the morning, once a month. We have about 50 people that come regularly. They're doing STEAM challenges at home, and then they bring those to this campus, and they share together what they created as a family, and then experience STEAM challenges in the morning. It's been a really neat addition and an interesting time to attract our families to the campus. In addition to the classroom learning and our STEAM station learning, our students learn in other places as well. We have a STEAM courtyard, and we have a sensory garden, and now, thanks to a very special partnership, we've just reinvigorated our vegetable garden. And then finally, we have after-school clubs. We have currently about 200 students, which is about half of our K-5 students are participating in after-school clubs. That includes chorus, modern band, arts, coding, Girls Who Code, and also Minecraft and others. So that's a very special way for them to integrate STEAM in another way after school. We believe that this increases engagement. We believe that it also is a really important part of vocabulary development for students. It's improving academic performance, and it's also teaching them I think one of the most valuable skills, which is academic risk-taking. In the classroom, it's really about standards-based instructional planning. It's, again, looking at those 4 C's across and within their content. It's making connections between discipline when it makes sense, and learning to problem solve and question and think critically. Also recognizing the diversity of learners that we have, that come to the table. Sometimes a student, when you can give them that hands-on piece, they will embrace it, even though it might be the subject that is the most difficult for them. They'll embrace it and give it a try, which is so exciting to see those lights go on. And giving students that real-world learning opportunity when we can. We also think that our powerful community partnerships make a big difference in our school, and not only to our STEAM program, but beyond. We have been an Everglades champion school for 2 years, working with the Everglades Literacy Foundation. We work on conservation, and they understand ecology in our state, especially hovering around the Everglades. We have Rockin' Readers for all of our kindergarten students, thanks to the program from Temple Emmanuel, which they call the Starfish Initiative. And they really super serve our kindergarten students, really pour into them, building that literacy, building the arts, building the problem solving, starting right away in kindergarten. We also have a very unique partnership with Bay Village Retirement Community. Bay Village, we're actually going to be there tomorrow with our 4th and 5th graders. Our 4th and 5th graders are going to go do STEAM challenges. So if you can imagine the intergenerational learning that's going to happen at the table when 2 of our 4th or 5th graders sit with 2 people that are in this retirement community, and they're going to do a STEAM challenge together and learn together and share about their learning together. It's extremely fun to watch. Everybody's learning and everybody's happy. We also have Ringling A Arts. That it has created several murals on campus. They work with our students to do film projection last year and just multiple projects. And as I said earlier, the Sarasota Farm Bureau and the Green Gene Foundation just recently helped us reinvigorate. They had like a little barn raising with our vegetable garden, and we're so excited to see the plants start to grow out there. So at Wilkinson, like I said, we really believe that we're building the future for our students. And I think this quote really sums up, if you come to our classrooms, it's what you will see. The students that are curious, the ones who are not afraid to try, they explore it, they poke at it, they question it, and then they turn it inside out. And those are the students that are going to make a difference in the future. So thank you very much for letting me share Wilkinson.
Thank you very much. And we're going on to the, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing.
Superintendent?
Yeah, Principal Nations, thank you for sharing your showcase of all the great things that are happening inside and even outside with the community partners. You're really taking STEM and STEAM to more than just a name on a wall, but making it an authentic experience. And that's a challenge to do. And she's worked very hard for the certification piece. And I just want to recognize that hard work and all that your teachers and your staff and community are doing. We appreciate you and looking forward to the great things that you'll continue to do. Thank you so much.
Superintendent Connor, on to your report, please.
Yes.
Oh. Wow. Mr. Edwards.
Thank you. Principal Nations, when I met you 4 years ago, it was a different world than where you are today. And I've had the pleasure of being on your campus a couple of times and watching the evolution. And I cannot be more proud of that grade B and holding on to it for 2 years. That's a huge, huge task, and congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Ms. Ziegler?
Thank you. I just wanted to share, I think it's interesting having watched this journey. And from the first day, I'll never forget the presentation you provided. And it was very much what you're actually executing upon now, and you've dug deep and continued and been consistent with it. But it was really outside the box thinking and making learning a really fun environment. And every challenge that has come before your doorstep, you have really taken it on and continued, again, being very consistent, persistent is the word I'm looking for, to ensure that this is a success. So thank you so much for your commitment. It's really exciting to see the fruits of your labor and your team. I know we have an amazing team there. So thank you again.
Superintendent Connor.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, November is a very, very busy month, and so I want to start out my report just sharing all the great holidays, observances that we're going to be having throughout this month. November is known as Family Engagement in Education Month, if you didn't know. And then as well, it is also Native American Heritage Month, which we'll be celebrating, as well as on November 7th, Victims of Communism Day will be celebrated as a part of the new legislation that was passed last year. And of course, on November 11th, we'll be celebrating Veterans Day. And I do know that we have a veteran here today. So we thank you and we honor your service, and we appreciate that. And then this week, a very special occasion, we are celebrating across the state of Florida Holocaust Education Week through November 4th through the 8th. And I had the great opportunity, and I know a couple of our board members were there, Ms. Marinelli, Mr. Edwards were at Booker High School, and we got to hear a great speaker, Ms. Rivka Glatz, who is pictured here on the screen, who was sharing an inspiring story about her experiences through the Holocaust as a small child. And so there were some invaluable lessons that were shared in experiences, and just really elevating the importance of the remembrance of that horrible tragedy and the lessons learned from that. And so what an honor and privilege we had to get to hear directly from someone, and I hope that will be a memorable experience for the students that were involved. Ms. Rivka has done this over 30 times in our school districts over the years, and she's passionate about it, and we appreciate that. On our consent agenda, we have several items. One of the things I want to highlight, it's actually several of our items, but they're really around the idea of securing our pricing now before prices change as we get to gear up for our new Sky Ranch School, our K-8, that is on the docket to open in August of next year. We are securing materials, furniture, equipment, all types of things, books, media center, refrigeration, everything just to get the school up and running, securing that prices here in this calendar or fiscal year before they go up. And so that is what many of the items that you see listed here on consent. Really excited about the work. We did show a video. I know that just went out to our families today around the construction update. I've heard there's been some questions of whether we're on time. We are absolutely on time. Things are moving very smoothly, and we appreciate the work that is happening there. It will be fast and furious, though, because we will be able to take occupancy in May, and then we got to get the school ready by August. So we'll be doing a lot of work in there, but Principal Hannon's doing a great job in getting that piece, and the team project manager is working very hard on that. So we're fortunate to be on time and on budget. Now, I will say in terms of Sky Ranch, we had a very, very extensive workshop today talking about boundaries. And so I just want to make sure that we're clear during this meeting and to the public that we will be advertising a public hearing to be coming at our next board meeting to hear the recommendation. The recommendation has been provided at the workshop, but that will be an opportunity for the public to share their feedback before the board takes action on that. And so more information will be published and coming out regarding that. Very excited and happy to say that we have successfully reached conclusion of our negotiations for this year. And with the approval of our instructional and classified staff of 93% and 96% respectively, we now have a 2-year contract that puts 5% increases in our teachers and classifieds pockets this year, as well as next year, for a total of 10% over the 2-year period. And happy to say that starting next year, our instructional salary will begin at $60,000, placing us just behind Monroe County in the Keys as the top starting salary for teachers
in the state of Florida. So we're really, really excited about that and appreciate all those who were able to participate in the ratification process and the collaboration with SCTA and our negotiating team to come to a successful conclusion for those 2 years. The state of Florida each year publishes a list of the schools of excellence. A school of excellence is designated by the Florida Department of Education as one of the schools who is in the top of 80th percentile of all performing schools in the state. So we are fortunate to have 18 schools of excellence in our district this year. So as you can see here, so congratulations to all of these schools who have reached a School of Excellence designation for the 24 school year. On top of that, the state also recognizes districts as academically high performing. And the way that you officially recognize it for that is that you obviously have to have at least a school grade of A for a consecutive of 3 years. You must be in compliance with class size as defined by the state, and that you have no material weaknesses in your financial audit reports. So I'm happy to say that Sarasota is one of only 10 school districts in the state out of 67 that has reached that designation, and we're very proud of the work of our team to continue that recognition. For the next 3 years, we are designated as a high-performing school district. Pineview earns platinum placement on the College Board AP Honor Roll, and we want to recognize them for that hard work. This is the highest level of recognition, with only a few schools that actually reach this status. Additionally, Pineview has been awarded the AP Access Award for its commitment to providing equitable access to rigorous college-level coursework. Congratulations to Pineview. And I want to recognize a current teacher that is recently, and a recently retired teacher, who have received a statewide award at the Florida Arts Education Association Conference. Miss Chloe Dubois from Northport High got the Secondary Art Educator of the Year Award, and Jackie Henson Dacey, a recently retired art teacher from Venice High, received the Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations to those individuals. And I'm real excited about an upcoming event where we're launching this year. This is a new initiative that I think is going to reap a lot of benefit for our schools and for our students and our administrators. It's called CEOs in Schools. And we, with the help of our Strategic Engagement Office under the direction of Dr. Harriet Moore, have worked really hard in partnership with the Education Foundation of Sarasota County to get this off the ground. And tomorrow we're actually meeting together at a meet and greet where we have over 40 CEOs in this area of Sarasota County pairing up with a principal, and they will be spending a day with the principal, getting to learn what really happens in our schools and really get to see, because, you know, we all remember what school was like when we were in school, but things have changed a lot. And so it's going to be a great experience to see the ins and the outs, the challenges and the successes. And what's going to be awesome is the opportunity to forge those strong relationships and be a symbiotic relationship where they'll be able to identify opportunities to help serve our schools, and maybe we can identify opportunities to help them maybe in their business. So looking forward to the CEOs in Schools Day, that day of impact where they're actually going to be servicing our school. Most of them will be on November 21st. And so we're looking forward to a successful CEOs in Schools initiative. And last but not least, I just have to say, I am so honored to say that we reached an 84% approval rating on the referendum last night, the highest of all millage referendums in the state. So congratulations to Sarasota County. You really have demonstrated that education is important, and you recognize that through your commitment to vote on the millage. And so let's just give the community a round of applause for an 84%. So that puts us at a place where we will be able to continue this critical funding for our school district through June 30th of 2030. So congratulations to the community, and thank you, and we're honored to be able to use this to have a high-quality school system because every dollar is needed. And you see, we're leading now. We're one of the tops in terms of salary, starting salary. We have some of the highest averages, I believe the highest average in the state of teacher salaries. And that is only due to the fact that we have this supplemental resource, and that makes sure that we continue to have the best teachers and the best staff. So thank you so much. Thank you, Superintendent Connor. We'll go ahead and continue moving forward with the program, and I believe all of us will address the millage passing at the end as a board member, and we couldn't be more proud. We're going to go ahead moving into the hearing of citizens, and then regarding to the agenda items, each speaker would state their full name. We will have up to 3 minutes. First will be Lisa Shore speaking on agenda item 31, approval of the agreement for daily transportation between the Academy of Arts and the school board.
Greetings, school board. Oh, my.
Thank you.
My name is Lisa Gialdini Shore. I'm a citizen and resident of Sarasota County. I'm here today to talk about agenda item 31, approval of the agreement for daily transportation services between the Sarasota Academy of the Arts and the School Board of Sarasota County. I assume that this agreement is done in accordance with Florida Statute 1002.33. I assume there's fair market value pricing in the contract. I have, quite frankly, no issue with the contract itself. But I do have a question because a parent sent me an email that they had received from SSAS, and it indicates that if you drive your child to or from SSAS, you can apply for the state school choice, I'm sorry, I didn't bring my reading glasses today, the state school choice transportation scholarship. And my concern was the following. When my child was in elementary school, we lived 2 miles away, and she's little. I wasn't going to let her, walk to and from school. No bus would pick her up. And that was fine. But my concern is, maybe someone can explain this to me. It appears as though there may be double dipping going on. Why, if we're providing the bus transportation, are we at the same time paying a parent who is driving, who's, for whatever reason, decided to drive their child to and from school? So it's just a question, quite frankly. I just wanted to make sure that, this particular voucher was available to public school students as well, because no one ever told me about it, but that was a long time ago. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Next up will be Steve Clark. But Mr. Clark, the renaming of the school is not an agenda item, so if you have an agenda item to speak on, otherwise I can put you in with the public comment at the end. Fine. Thank you, sir. Next up will be Robin Williams. She will be speaking on agenda items 28 through 35 in regard to transportation.
47.
Oh, and 47.
Okay. Maybe I'll start with, transportation. I personally do not believe we should be helping charter schools with transportation. Even if we negotiate some contract for some money for it, the truth of the matter is we're providing a service that the charter schools should be providing. They're taking our students away from public education. Every student is many, many thousands of dollars that are being attracted to charter schools that evidently can provide the needed services. It should be on their dime. Even if we get some minimal compensation, it's nowhere near the compensation for the thousands of dollars for every student that would be better served by our public schools. So I am against any form of helping them out on transportation or anything else for that matter. It's on them, not on the public dime. I'm against vouchers. Frankly, I'm against any public dollar going to any charter school. They should be public schools. We can have public magnet schools, whatever, but I don't think we should be subsidizing them to make them more attractive. It doesn't help us at all. The other thing, agenda item 47. I'm glad to hear the starting salary next year will be $60,000, but I've yet to see the salary scale for veteran teachers. I can tell you, I just checked again today, that as of last school year, the 2023 school year, where I stopped teaching 8 years ago when I retired, teachers now who have a master's, been veteran teachers, the average salary is $119,140. That's in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is ranked 27th for cost of living. We are, in terms of higher cost of living, we're 21st. So we have a higher cost of living state, and yet our teachers' salaries are rock bottom, number 50 in the state. So even while Sarasota is doing a little better compared to our cost of living, our teachers should still be getting double at the top. No teacher who's a veteran with a master's degree and has 10 years of service here should be making less than about $120,000. Thank you. So we need to really bring up teacher salaries, and we should also give them the benefit of their expertise and not trying to tell them what they can say in class or can't. The standards for the state should be the minimum, not the maximum, and they should be free to enrich their programs without worry about their jobs. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes hearing of citizens for agenda items. Moving on, Superintendent Connor, any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Yes, an addendum was added to item 4, which is the instructional classified personnel report, and item 46, the revised administrative salary schedules. The job descriptions were added to the agenda, as well as the schedules.
Thank you, sir. Now we're moving on. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda to be approved as presented?
I move that the consent agenda be approved as amended.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Marinelli. Motion passes 4-0. Now we're moving on to new business.
I move that the revised policy 4.10, the curriculum, be approved as presented.
Motion by Ms. Ziegler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Marinelli. Will everyone please vote? Motion carries 4-0. Moving on to item number 39. Do I have a motion?
I move that the revised policy 4.11, student progression plan, be approved as presented.
Motion by Ms. Ziegler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Marinelli. Will everyone please vote? Motion is approved 4-0. Moving on to item number 40. Do I have a motion?
I move that the revised policy 4.17, Veterans Day activities, be approved as presented.
Motion by Ms. Ziegler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Marinelli. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries 4-0. Moving on to item 41. Do I have a motion?
I move that the revised policy 4.111, physical education, be approved as presented.
Motion by Ms. Ziegler. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Ms. Marinelli. Any comment? Please vote. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 41. Do I have a motion?
We should be on 42.
Do
We did it a little out of order there. We did 40.
That's what I think.
Before
That's what I
40.
My
thought.
bad. I'm just, anyone chime in?
We're just moving along. All right. Thank you, Mr. Dugan. Item number 42. Do I have a motion?
I move that
There
the
we go.
changes to the administrative salary schedule be approved as presented.
Mike.
I move that the changes to the administrative salary schedule be approved as presented.
No, 42.
Are we on 42? I'm sorry.
I'm on 42.
Well, we can, the item 42,
Item 42 is approval
Yeah,
of
I think
revised
that-
policy 4.44, school functions.
wait.
They're not matching.
Yep, I just realized that. Yep.
All right.
Did I really go out of order?
Not on yours. You were
Okay.
in order on yours. Just out of order on.
Mr. Dugan, should we just vote on the motion that's been presented instead of reversing?
So I would, probably the cleanest thing to do is, if you're willing, Mr. Edwards, to withdraw the motion, and then I think for consistency, everybody operate off the paper copy, because there seems to be some inconsistency here between different versions, but hopefully everyone's paper copy in front of them is the same.
I withdraw my motion.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. So we should, on the paper copy on item 42, approval of revised policy 4.44, school functions.
Okay, I move that the revised policy 4.44 school functions be approved as presented.
Motion by Ms. Ziegler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Marinelli. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion carries 4-0. On to item 43, approval of revised policy 4.51, student publications. Do I have a motion?
I move that policy 4.51 student publications be approved as presented.
Motion by Ms. Ziegler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Marinelli. Any discussion? Please vote.
Oh,
Motion carries 4-0. Moving on to item number 44. Approval of revised policy 5.201, school choice options.
I see what the problem is. I move that policy I move that revised policy 5.201 school choice options be approved as presented.
Motion by Ms. Ziegler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Marinelli. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries 4-0. On to number 45. Do I have a motion?
I move that I'm getting messed up, sorry. That adequacy of education facilities and growth management, policy 7.78, be approved as presented.
Motion by Ms. Ziegler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Marinelli. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 46, approval of revised administrative salary schedules. Do I have a motion?
That's me, I guess.
I just thought,
I move that the changes to the administrative salary schedule be approved as presented.
second.
Motion by Mr. Edwards, second by Ms. Ziegler. Any discussion? Please vote. On to item 47, approval of changes to the SCTA instructional and classified contracts for 24-25, 25-26. Do I have a motion?
I move that the changes to the instructional and classified bargaining agreements be approved as presented.
Motion by Ms. Edwards. Mr. Edwards, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ziegler. Do I have any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries 4-0. That concludes new business. So now we'll be moving on to hearing of citizens.
I'm just going to note for the record, we did, during that last stretch, we did item 41 before we did item 40. So just, Ms. Tompkins, for the record, if you can just make a note for the minutes. We did them, the motions each were procedurally correct, and they each passed. We just did 41 before we did 40, the way that the motion was announced out loud with words.
Thank you, Mr. Dugan. Apologize for that being out of order.
My bad.
Next, we're going on to hearing of citizens in reference to general comments. As you come to the podium, would you please state your full name and confine your remarks to the business of the school board, reference to policy 2.22. It needs to tie into the school board and regarding to the business of our kids. With that being said, we do have 4 comment cards. The first one will be Mr. Clark.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Superintendent Connor. My name is Steve Clark. Thank you for this opportunity, and I thank you for everyone's hard work on the school naming process. I know it's not easy. I saw the workshop this morning, so I got a pretty good idea where we currently stand. But having said that, I'm a lifelong resident of Sarasota County and a product of the Sarasota County schools, as well as a graduate from Venice High School. I've been married here, raised my family here, and I've worked here for Sarasota County for over 20 years. I've also proudly served this amazing nation of ours, having recently retired last year after 25 years of service as a Command Master Chief for the United States Navy Seabees. I know firsthand what it takes, the cost of serving our country, the time away from our families, missed birthdays, missed anniversaries, the missed holidays, and the missed moments just every day. I know the toll it takes to go to war and the price that is paid to lose friends and fellow service members during enemy action, having lost 7 and nearly 40 wounded of my own Seabees on a combat tour to Iraq. I had the opportunity to save even one of them, even at my own peril. I would have done it. Commander Clyde Lassen, when presented with such an opportunity, put his life on the line in order to save the 2 lives of downed aviators in the jungles of North Vietnam. For his heroic actions, he received the Medal of Honor. As an employee of this district, it has been my honor and focus to support our mission of providing the best quality education and in top-notch facilities. I personally have beat the drum for decades that this is my village and these are my kids. The district has a policy, which we just heard on the agenda, for educating students about veterans and what it means to be one.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Yes, sir. But I would like to say thank you for your service to our country, especially with Veterans Day. Thank you, sir. And then we did all receive the email. I really do appreciate the opportunities. Thank you, sir. Next up will be Barbara Vaughn.
I'm Barbara Vaughn, resident of Sarasota County. And by the way, Superintendent Connor, there's more than one veteran in this room. There may be a lot more than one. There's just one that's easily recognizable. I served 28 years. As usual, today I'm going to pray. Heavenly Father, we ask you to raise up godly teachers and educators who have a heart for the children. May they receive your godly wisdom to become examples to their students. Restore a standard of excellence to our school, academics instead of ideology. We decree the release of demonic control over some of our teachers. May they prioritize the students and their learning instead. May failing and underperforming schools rise from the mediocrity to educational excellence. We pray also for parents to have school choice, to be able to send their children to the best schools. Cause our educational system to be preeminent in the world. That is what we're working toward. Let discipline and respect for authority be restored from our children in our schools. We pray these things in Jesus' name. And I'm so happy we have a new Commander-in-Chief.
Thank you for your service, Ms. Vaughn. Next up will be Lisa Scher, followed by Robin Williams.
My name is Lisa Scher. I'm here to represent 2 groups, Public Education Network of Sarasota and support our schools. We were all heavily involved in the move to get the referendum passed, so I want to thank everybody else who was involved in that. And I also want to have a special shout out to my friends at the Sea Alliance who called, I don't know how many, we ended up with 3 million, 2 million people to get Amendment 1 passed. So I do believe these are both very important. My next comment is on my behalf and the hundreds of people who have reached out to me. And this, I believe, is in accordance with 2.22 because it has to do with the school board. Karen Rose has not attended a school board meeting since she lost the race. I'm wondering if a teacher didn't show at school for a couple, 3 months, what would happen? I'd like to know why this board is allowing this. Are we still paying Mrs. Rose? The one good thing that did come out of it is she will be relegated to the dustbin of history, and deservedly so. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Scher. Next up will be Robin Williams.
Hi. November 9th through 10th, 1938 was Kristallnacht, and that's why we are remembering the Holocaust now this week. I'm often reminded by a person who lives here, Peter Constam, who belongs to my synagogue. He knew Anna Frank. She was his babysitter. He is on the International Anne Frank Foundation. He often quotes Heinrich Heine from the German Jewish philosopher and writer from 1824, where they burn books, they will ultimately burn people. While we are not burning books, despite people saying we don't ban books, literally every textbook that you can adopt here has been pre-censored. Every textbook, virtually every single textbook in Florida is a Florida edition. This is deeply disturbing to me. I am a retired biology teacher. For the last 23 years of my career, I taught multiple levels of biology and various electives. And one of the most commonly used, well-respected textbooks that had many, many editions over the years was the Miller-Levine biology textbook. There is now literally a Florida edition of Miller-Levine biology. I've been unable to get a copy of it, but having taught from that book for so many years and new and improved editions, I'm wondering, how much did they take out of climate change?
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Thank you. That concludes the hearing of citizens in reference to general comment. We'll now move on to final comments from each board member. We'll go ahead and start with Ms. Marinelli.
Thank you, Mr. Enos. I would just like to thank the community also for the support and the passing of the referendum at almost 85%. I think that just shows the trust that our community has in all of us and our teachers, and our students are receiving an excellent education, and also to pay our teachers as much as we possibly can, and we use the referendum's money for that, so, and all our staff. So I just want to thank the community and the parents and everybody that voted. And I'd also like to bring attention. I had the pleasure and privilege to visit Lakeview Elementary last week and sit in on their impact review team. And the reason I want to bring this up is I was so impressed at the level of knowledge and intelligence that our district staff, the staff at Lakeview, that when they really dug into student data on reading and math and really made plans on how they were going to address student achievement. And I just wanted to acknowledge that I would put those teachers and staff up to any profession in the United States of the brightness and the caring and the knowledge that they have when it comes to breaking down reading and math. And I also want to shout out to the front office. From when I walked in there, I was made so welcome and made sure that I got to where I was supposed to be and on time. And it was a pleasure to visit that school, and I look forward to all the other schools. I went to Southside yesterday, planning for their 100th year celebration in January. So anybody that went to Southside that might be in this room, put it on your calendar because it's going to be a beautiful celebration. And they're working to get the school all fixed up, and our superintendent's helping with that. And anyway, it's a pleasure to going to Booker. It just amazes me of how wonderful our schools are and the dedication of our staff. So thank you.
Ms. Ziegler?
Thank you. I wanted to congratulate everyone again for the hard work on the referendum. I am really excited. This is the first year it was on a general ballot, and I have been pushing for that since 2014. Now, never was the decision made at this board level. It was the state that intervened for across the state. But I think it's really interesting. I think that we had 214,000 votes, I believe is what I quickly looked here, and that 214,000 people participated, which is, again, you put something out to the electorate to hear from the electorate, and so the larger and more participation is the goal. The best part is it didn't cost the district any money, whereas years before, it ranged from $300,000 to $500,000. And so it gives me great pride having fought this battle for a really long time, because I always believed it would be supported because it's a testament to the work that takes place in this district and the support that this community has. But not only did it pass, we were able to increase the participation without zero cost 3 times more. So it gives me great pride. Thank you for everyone who worked. And I know that this board and our superintendent and everyone inside this district takes that very seriously, of what you guys have entrusted us with, and we are committed to ensuring we maximize and optimize the use of those funds. So very excited about that outcome.
Thank you. Mr. Edwards?
Yes, I spoke at the workshop today about the referendum, and I know that Mr. Maniglia worked incredibly hard to make sure, and Mr. Connor, I watched rough drafts going back and forth of sharing information about our schools and the way that our schools use the referendum dollars. So I appreciate that hard work. Additionally, I know there were organizations in our community and private donors that came together to be an organization to promote the referendum where the school district was unable. And I want to thank those donors and thank the folks that worked hard. There were letters to the editor and op-eds and lots of good communication that came from that community. So I want to make sure that they're acknowledged and thanked as well. And I agree, as I said at the workshop, the reputation of our teachers and our administrators and the staff is really what really helps drive the referendum and has the citizens so willing to keep that tax and keep it available for our students. So as a school board member, and as we heard from the others on the team, we're all grateful to the community for their work and for the passage of the referendum.
Thank you, and I'd also echo that. You know, I always say that at Sarasota, we should always lead, never follow. I mean, to be number one in reference to passing of the referendum and the changes that have been made, the third grade reading, all the other stuff that's going on, a lot of the transparency. Again, I think that's just to the staff and to the people and to the board and the changes and the things that have happened, no matter whatever, at the end of the day, it comes back to is making our kids the best kids that they possibly can be. I would also tell Mr. Clark that at the time we have it on the agenda, we'd love to have you back, but to stay with protocol, unfortunately, was just 2 minutes, sir. With all of that, I would just like to, one of the things I would do is, as I thanked Ms. Goodwin when she left, is also in reference to Ms. Rose. It does take a lot to be able to sit on the board, no matter what your political views are. I can tell you I've known her so when she was the principal at Sarasota Middle School. Definitely was all about safety of the kids, definitely took care of the people that they were there. And I would thank her for spending her time because, again, after 30-plus years that she's had to the school district, I think that that's something that, whatever the beliefs are, is that it, I thank her for the time and especially pushing forward the data-driven stuff is to be able to actually see the statistics, to be able to make the changes as we move forward. Seeing that, I see Ms. Ziegler is back on.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't. Thank you for reminding us about Mrs. Rose's, this is being her first last official meeting, and I want to thank her for her service, not only as a board member, but also as a very effective administrator and principal. Her mark on this board has been profound, and despite there may be varying opinions about it, I can tell you that's a point of fact, as what has really put us on the trajectory that we are on rests strongly in her hands, and I want to thank her for her perseverance and her focus. I know that data was truly what she utilized with her experience to assess where we were going, and I know that there were great concerns, but with her knowledge and experience was able to really articulate that in a different manner than some other former board members were able to do, and certainly in a different manner than she was capable of doing when she was on the other side. And it took bold decision-making and putting forward difficult decisions, but at the center of that was our students, has been our students, and will continue to be our students. And I know I have to assume if she were here, she would make absolutely no apologies for it because she will remain committed to that. And so it has been an honor to serve with her. I wish her the absolute best, and I am grateful for all of the work and sacrifices that she has put forward for this community and school district.
Ms. Marinelli?
Thank you, Mr. Enos. Oops. Thank you, Mr. Enos. And I'd like to echo that, too. I had the privilege of working with Miss Rose when she was a behavior teacher and an exceptional student education liaison, and also as a principal. And she is one of the exemplary educators that I've ever had the privilege of working with. I know there are differing opinions, but I know firsthand her dedication to students, to parents, and the use of data. She used the data with students from the time she was a behavior teacher, so they would know and be able to graph their improvement. She was able to share that with parents, and she carried that data over into student achievement in all subject areas as an administrator. And it was a privilege and a pleasure to be able to serve with her on this school board. And her contributions will always be foremost for me, and I want to thank her for her service. And she did with great stellar be able to take the arrows and the attacks that happened at every board meeting for almost 2 years. And I wish her well, and I know she will be fine, and she's going to carry on with her life. And I just appreciate her service to this district for 30-some years, and she will be missed. Thank you.
Superintendent Connor?
Well, I echo all the same sentiments. I tell you, Ms. Rose was an early adopter of my candidacy, as well as you here on the board. But I just want to share my debt of gratitude for her service. She was really helpful in onboarding me and orienting me to the school district. She has such a wealth of knowledge, a history here, and those experiences have really lent themselves to a successful transition over the last year, and we've been able to accomplish a lot. So her connections to the community really helped me accelerate and ground myself and get rooted here. and the ability, as well as the board members that are up here, empowering me. Because as superintendent, it can be a challenge when you come into a new district and there's so many barriers that you're already overcoming. But the board has never been a barrier. You have all been, and including Ms. Rose, have empowered me and allowed us to make decisions, and sometimes very critical decisions that have massive ramifications throughout the district. And so I just thank her for allowing me to do that. Again, owe her gratitude, and I wish her the best. And I'm looking forward to our new board member, Ms. Liz Barker, who will be starting with us at our very next meeting, and looking forward to that. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Superintendent. And I'd also say, Ms. Williams, I think that $120,000 for what our teachers do and our people out here in public safety is probably at the bottom of what their value is, because without them, we don't have a culture and we don't have a country. So I appreciate that, and I know we all wish that we could do more than what we're doing. With that being said, our next board meeting is the reorganizational meeting, swearing in ceremony. Congratulations to Ms. Barker and Mr. Edwards. Will take place at 5 p.m. And then we are going to have the reorganization meeting is at 5:45 on November 19th, and then the board meeting to follow at 6 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A motion by Ms. Ziegler, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.